It's our weekly conversation with the Milwaukee Admirals head coach, Karl Taylor. Coach, the trade deadline in the NHL came and went. I'm curious this year, how different was it for you, if it was different at all, to go through the trade deadline and deal with players who may be going through something or wondering if they were. I don't even know if there was some tension or not with players this year compared to last or in the
Uh,
past.
yeah, I think our guys are pretty relaxed. Like, how much more tension can they have when they're going through all the protocols and all the things we've dealt with this season? So, I think that our group is pretty much just doing their normal business, and management's going to do what they do, and they're going to make the best decisions they can to move forward. And if that affects us at our level, then it does. So. Obviously, it was quiet this year for Nashville for the most part. So good, bad, and different. I think our guys handled it very well, and there's nothing you can do about it. So most of the guys would be that could have been in the. I guess anyone could be in the talks or the conversations, depending on what Nashville is looking at or what the opportunities are or what's being presented. And there's nothing you can do. And the one line we always have: if Wayne Gretzky can get traded, we all can get traded. So. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to see how the day goes and go about your business and not think about it too much.
It's a season where every team in the NHL has had to rely on its depth, and we didn't see a ton of minor league moves in that regard with the trade deadline. So you're seeing a lot of teams have to use their depth, and I guess that's I guess if you're going to play in the AHL while this season is wonky, this might be the year because you got a pretty good shot of being called up. We've seen that with Nashville, at least.
Well, yeah, I think Nashville is top 5 for man games lost this year. And so them in Dallas, I know as well, is way up there. I heard that in a broadcast the other day. But yeah, it's been lots of opportunity for a lot of the players that were on a very good team last year in Milwaukee. Obviously, some of them have been in Chicago this year, but there's been a lot of opportunity. And I think the best thing about the opportunity is that most of our guys were ready for it, so they grabbed it. When you look at how the guys have played, we've talked about this at length. Most of our players have extended their stays. Most of our players have done better than expected, I think, overall, exceeded expectations. And some have secured full-time jobs, I think, in my opinion. So hopefully some other people feel the same way. And some of our guys get to be there for full-time in the future. So yeah, there's been lots of players, lots of opportunity for different guys, but I think in the end, it's up to the players to grab it like they have, and the organization just has to sometimes be more patient than they want to. But you could see the patience really paying off this year, and with the opportunity and what the guys have done.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And if nothing else, I mean, this wasn't a normal year. John Hynes came in as the head coach, so you've said this before, he doesn't really have the relationship with a lot of guys at the minor league level. So a taxi squad call up like Tommy Novak just had, like Phil Tomasino is going through right now, those are key moments for players.
Yeah, there's no question, because it's some of them, it's their first exposure with John. So it's their opportunity to sell themselves and get to know John and the staff and present themselves in a manner that they want to be remembered. I think not having the training camp and not having the camps that we've had, the more traditional look that we usually have, where the coaches get to see everyone, has been challenging for some players, and maybe for some it's been an opportunity. You just never know how it plays out or what the situation is,
right,
or how that group can find a way to get the exposure they need. In the same breath, the players at our level are all fighting for ice time and opportunity to present themselves in a manner to our coaching staff. And so when we get the phone call, they want to get the reference from us.
I've heard we've talked about this before, but have you had your eyes opened in a different way with players? Maybe you had them pegged as in a certain role, and they've done something different in Chicago or in Nashville, for that matter, that maybe you didn't think they would be able to do in Milwaukee this season, given personnel.
Yeah, I think in Chicago, I think some people have been elevated and giving more opportunity. Tanner Jeannot is a great example of that, and he's ran with it. I think lots of guys have been used in a lot of situations. One of the things we're trying to do in Chicago is, since it is mostly a series of exhibition games in the season, I don't want to downplay what it is or what's happening, but that's basically the way we're looking at it.
Mhm.
Yes, we want to win every game, but we're also trying to expose the players to different areas. So guys that haven't penalty killed, they're penalty killing. Guys that haven't done this position on the power play, remove the pieces around a lot so that they get exposure to different spots. They gain experience. And maybe we find a diamond in the rough that's really good at a certain location or how they play or whatever the role is. So we've been trying to really expose all the players on both teams, Carolina and the Nashville players, to different elements and to experiment a little bit. Obviously, when the game starts, we're still trying to win because we are all wired that way. But we are trying to keep in mind that we are a development situation to the extreme this year. And that's our focus. And just trying to give the players the best experience, the best opportunity to learn. And if they do get an opportunity when they go up, they're more well-rounded than when they started.
I was going to say, and that takes away we need a third line guy, we need a fourth line guy. Well, if you have several guys who can play, that's more tool. If they have more tools in their toolbox, that's more opportunity for them. It's certainly great for coaches as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what you're trying to do as a coach, as a player, as a broadcaster. You always want to have options, and you want to. Sometimes we get those options through tough experience opportunities where we learn the hard way. But I think we all want to expand our breadth and our knowledge and what we can offer, whether it's developing players or being on the penalty kill or being a power play guy or whatever it is. We want to expand and have more options, create more layers to our game and to our coaching game, so that depending on the opportunities that get presented in front of you, there's a way to create each one, but you can grab it because you've had some different opportunities presented to you and you've grabbed them. So I think the more depth, the more layers to your to a player's game or a coach's game is going to assist you to increase your opportunities down the road and also allow you to have success when you find them.
It was not earlier this week. It was announced that Josh Healey had signed an NHL deal with Nashville, and great for him. Nashville ran into some depth problems, certainly, but it's great that Josh Healey earned that spot and is able to get that NHL deal and be a little more on the radar for the future.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think, Heels had a good season this year. It's been a different season for everyone, and including Heels. But I think he's starting to find his groove and his identity. He's played a very regular shift and had lots of ice time, got into the lineup earlier than he did with us last year. So I think those things are progress for him and moving in the right direction. And obviously, I think the last total Nashville's gone through 14 defensemen this year. So that's a big number. And they still have some injury issues. And so looking at the depth, they decided to sign Josh in case they needed to utilize him. They wanted to have that as an option. And so it's a great credit for Mr. Healey to go out and grab that.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, you mentioned getting guys ready and evaluating and stuff like that. Young players, are they starting to come in? Will you see them in the near future?
Yeah, we added the Solo, the kid from Zach from Northeastern. So he's come in on an ATO, and he's a great kid. He's eager and nervous and respectful, and we're excited to work with him. He's got great energy, and it was interesting because we added a new young guy, just all excited forever, just eyes wide open. And you can understand what's happened in Nashville a little bit with some of our guys going up and adding that energy and helping to change the dynamic in Nashville. The players have done a great job with that. But we got a little bit of that with Zach with practice yesterday. He was zipping around, and he would have stayed out there for 5 hours if we let him. He was pretty excited. So yeah, we've added him, and I'm not sure how we're going to move forward. Obviously, they're looking at signing different players or bringing in extra guys. I'm sure that'll be part of the process. But we are down to 11 games, and I think 32 days left in the current run here. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I'm sure Nashville is doing their due diligence and looking to upgrade, and especially since we have some guys go up and solidify themselves. So they got some holes to fill down the road in the American League.
I want to finish real quick. I was down on April 1st to see the Wolves in Grand Rapids, and Luke Evangelista picked up his first point. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he's a young player, and He's a high draft pick of Nashville. We have high hopes for him. He's very receptive to coaching. I think this has been a great experience for him. I do believe he'll be back in junior next year, I believe is the plan. And plans can always change. But he's a young man who's taken it all in. I think he's learned some valuable lessons to understand what it takes to be a pro. And when you watch a Tanner Jeannot walk into the locker room every day, I think that's something to look up to and follow his tracks and try to be as professional and as direct as Tanner is. I think he's a great example for a young guy like Luke to be around and to understand. Because let's not forget with Tanner. I know I got on a tangent talking about Tanner, but it's easy. He's undrafted in a couple of leagues and he's earned everything he's gotten. So it's not like he had an easy path. He has played games in the East Coast League. Watching the last 2 games with him in the NHL is very exciting for everyone, and because he's earned it and he deserves it. So for a young guy like Luke or Zach Solo to come in and be around people like that have earned every inch and now are being rewarded and then grabbing the opportunity. We've talked about Nashville converting American League contracts to NHL contracts and basing things on merit. Like, what else do you want? You've got a great example. You got everything you're looking for. What a standard we're setting here for the future and what we want to do in Milwaukee.
Very good. Coach, good to see you. Thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's Milwaukee Admirals head coach Karl Taylor.